All right. I'm going to go rapid fire now of just a couple of names of guys I like. And we'll just go random positions and just do like an elevator pitch on a couple of these guys. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
All righty. Defensive line. Let's start there. So a guy who was injured most of the season came back against Indiana in the playoff for Alabama, LT Overton. I like this guy a lot last year. Did not really have the same production as 2024. Was injured for a lot of the season, though. I still think he's got that potential, though. What are your thoughts on LT Overton?
Yeah, Overton's an interesting body type also. So he's like an edge rusher, but he doesn't have great explosive get off, but he's very bendable. Like him and Bain, you look at these guys who are 270 plus and you're like, how are you so flexible? Especially in your hips and your ankles. Like that shouldn't physically be possible. Now, he doesn't have like the first step get off. Like Bain's first step, especially in like the national championship, first 4 weeks of this year, his burst is like, whoa, watch out. Freight trains coming down the tracks. Overton doesn't have that first step get off elite type of acceleration. That I think that's part of why he has a decent amount of pressures in his college career, but not a lot of sacks. That's kind of, I think, the missing element to his game. But dude, like if you're a team like the Washington Commanders and like Dan Quinn utilizes stunts and twists at a pretty high clip, and you didn't get the D lineman that you loved there at 7, he's a guy that I think naturally could fit, could play some edge, could play some inside, get you kind of 2 birds, 1 stone with where you line him up. And then when you use those stunts and twists, his playability, really, his bendability becomes a really interesting factor there, and you're giving him a chance to build up speed. So I like LT Overton, not a first round guy, but like an interesting piece, probably 3rd round for me right now. But especially considering like some guys are just like easy to get on the field, and like I'm here for it because you can line them up anywhere. And LT Overton's one of those guys where it's just like he's an easy football player to play. So easy 3rd round selection for me there.
Like it.
In this class, I will say.
Tell me why. Tell me where the Lions are going to draft Jennings Dunker. You know Jennings Dunker is going to be a Dan Campbell guy. Just tell me where they're going to take him. I cannot think of a better Dan Campbell guy than Jennings Dunker from Iowa.
Yeah, and they need to overhaul that interior offensive line. They probably need a guard and a center, to be honest with you. I'm a day 3 guy with Jennings. I don't really. I think Iowa doesn't really give him.
I just like the hair and the mustache.
Oh yeah, 100%. From an aesthetic standpoint, that's a football player, 100%. And then I will say, like run game, guy can generate drive off the line of scrimmage. So that's where like I get where a lot of people like him at guard. I'd probably pull the trigger day 3, 4th, 5th round. But like if you're the Lions and you're looking at this guy as like I'm putting him next to Penei Sewell, giddy up, let's roll. We're running on the right side. Yeah, 4th round, it sounds pretty exciting to me. So it really comes down to the team. But like if it's the Arizona Cardinals, I'd just be like, hey, But it's just different when you know the landing spot and the history they have developing players. So the Lions, 4th round. Anyone else, I'd be like, maybe just sitting in But I'm also like not the world's biggest Jennings Dunker guy. So.
Okay. What about another lineman who I've thought has been the best center in college, Jake Slaughter from Florida? I've written so many pieces on this guy and just the success he's had over his career because I feel like every week he was the best center graded every week. So it's just like this guy does not let any pass get by him or anything. And just tell us about him.
Yeah, man. And it's a center class with really everyone has some warts. Like Connor Liu's probably the best center, but he's coming off a torn ACL and he's 20 years old. This year was a little bit of a down step than last year. So like, what do you want to do with that? How high do you draft that guy? Brian Parker from Duke is a right tackle. So you're just kind of projecting him as a center. And then you have guys like Parker Brailsford, who's really small. He's just like, frankly, small for an NFL center. And then you get guys like Jake Slaughter, who they meet it from a size and weight requirement, but like the arms I've heard are going to be a little bit on the shorter side, but should check out. And then just not the world's greatest mover or athlete in general. But I think what he like makes up for without elite measurables and elite athleticism is like high end like body control. I think he understands his body to a really high level. And that sounds weird, but like he knows the marks he has to hit to meet a guy. And I don't know, he's just got good body control and elite football IQ. Like this guy, and you can tell this guy like spends hours and hours and hours just watching his opponent, and he comes to the game prepped and ready for whatever move he's going to see that day. So I think he's probably a day 3 guy just from like a trade standpoint. But I can see a team where like this event, right? You meet him and you're like, holy shit, that's a football player. And you fall in love with the guy. Next thing you know, you're taking him in the 70s or something like that. So I could see like 3rd round as a potential for Jake Slaughter. I'm more of a 4th round guy with him. But like each one of these centers in this class have their issues and their warts. So like it's going to come down to flavor. And like if you want like frankly, you want another Dan Campbell type, like this is their type of center too, where it's like, yeah, I know you don't pass all these other boxes, but you'll line up and kill the dude across from you. So boom, you're gonna be our 4th-round pick. So I honestly, Detroit's another good shot for Slaughter.
I hope the Lions GM Brad Holmes is listening. Take one of these guys. You won't be sorry.